Um, I'm gonna throw a curveball at you, but I think you're gonna be well prepared for it. Uh, you kind of hinted at it, but with Barrett going down, what happens with the secondary now? Mosley, we don't know when he's coming back. Is there any updates on that, Jack? As far as is he
No,
a
there was.
possibility for?
Well, there's a possibility. There's a possibility, but it all depends on where he is. He got rolled up on that Friday right before Labor Day, that last or Thursday it was, right before they went on the Labor Day weekend, whatever that last practice was before they left for the 3-day weekend there.
Mm-hmm.
He got rolled up on, and so he's out with the knee. If he's able to go, he's going to be the starter.
Absolutely.
Right.
But let's assume he's not.
If he's not, it's going to be between Dante Johnson and Josh Norman. I don't think they're going to go to Ambry Thomas first. That was what we saw. Well, Lenore's already a starter.
Oh, okay. So you think it's going to be Lenore on one side for sure, and then either Johnson or Norman?
Yes. Yeah, if Mosley's not healthy.
Now, if Johnson is there, obviously we've seen that they'll still stick to that man scheme where they just play man to man. And Johnson had some pretty, two pretty decent plays at the end of the game. As far as covering, he broke up a couple of passes. Norman, on the other hand, probably not a man to man guy. So, do you think if Norman comes in, they start running more of that zone or cover like zone basically for the secondary?
Yeah, but there is run. They might have to go into a little bit more of their cover 3 or cover 2.
Yeah.
Kind of stuff. There's definitely a possibility of that. I think in this game we saw them running a lot of single high safety, and I think that was because of the offense that they were facing. And Detroit was wanting to run the ball, and they were trying to be physical like the 49ers normally are. So they're putting 8 guys in the box. That's why you see that against a team like, say, Philadelphia or Green Bay the following, in 2 weeks. I don't think you see them playing single high safety quite as much. I think you see maybe a little bit more, where you got the two safeties on the top because you don't have to worry about trying to stop the run as much. So it just really depends on on the game plan. So I think you're going to see, Dante Johnson was the first guy off the bench. I think he continues to be the first guy off the bench unless Thomas shows that he can step up. Because I don't know. We'll see.
How worried are you, I should say, about this secondary?
I'm concerned about it. If I really, the 49ers need Emmanuel Mosley to come back healthy, and they need him to come back and play and be the guy that he was in 2019. Because if you remember, in 2019, you had Kyle Witherspoon go down with an injury, and at that point in that season, a lot of people started to get worried about what was going to happen with that secondary. And Mosley came in, and there was no drop off with him in the game, as opposed, he was actually better than Witherspoon, and they were able to get to the Super Bowl that way. So I think if Lenore can continue to play at a high level, and he's able to come in and kind of recreate where he was in 2019, even 2020, if he can just stay healthy, I think the 49ers are going to be okay.
Can you talk a little bit about that game that Lenore had? Talk a little bit about what you saw out of him, and somebody tweeted out the numbers as far as what he gave up and so on and so forth. Talk about how good of a game he actually had.
Yeah, he only gave up 1 catch for, I think it was 3 yards. He was only targeted 4 times in 55 passing plays. That's really good stuff for a rookie. What you've seen of him is that he's very good in man coverage. He does a very good job of man or zone. But when he's in man coverage, he does a really good job of getting up on the man. And that's where Thomas has struggled. Thomas struggles with being able to close the space between him and the receiver. And that's where Lenore has been able to shine so far. So I like what I've seen out of him. I think, for a 5th-round pick, he was a 5th-round pick, or was he 6th?
He was in the 5th round. Yeah, 6th round was Mitchell.
Yeah, so 5th-round guy, he's playing really good. And if they've gotten a lot out of Mosley, who was an undrafted free agent. So I think that's the direction that they're going to end up in it eventually here. They just need Mosley to get healthy.
Now, the 49ers did sign Drake Kirkpatrick, to the team. what do you think he brings as far as is he just depth, or is he somebody who can actually be somebody that maybe jumps in and starts playing right away?
He's a veteran depth guy. I mean, they had a need to bring in another guy before week one, and they chose to bring in Josh Norman before him, right? Mm-hmm. So you got to say that Dre Kirkpatrick's going to come in here. He's going to give him a solid veteran type of quarterback or cornerback, excuse me, and he'll be a backup to one of the other two guys, I think.
Could a secondary, or I guess like cornerbacks of Lenoir, Thomas, Dante Johnson, Norman, and now Kirkpatrick, and obviously K'Waun Williams as well, or K'Waun Williams. I don't know why I just got that all confused. But anyways, those guys as corners, can this defense still be a top 5 defense?
Well, here's the thing. The 49ers build their defense from the front back. That's been their philosophy. Their philosophy has been to build their pass rush backwards, and their philosophy is that their defensive line is going to make the job easier for your defensive backs. We're going to see how that plays out for the next 17 weeks of the season, 16 games, because that's what's going to have to happen. The defensive line is going to have to do what they did at the end of the game. They're going to have to be the ones that kind of save the day. They're going to have to put a lot of pressure on guys. They're going to have to make these whoever's in their cornerback. They're going to have to be the ones to make them look better.
I agree, man. I think a lot of people are very, very uneasy about this secondary. It's like the biggest topic of conversation. All of the people who are like, this if Verrett goes down, this cornerback, group is very thin, and so on and so forth. Now, they're like, see, we told you, we told you this is going to happen and all this kind of stuff. I really think that, Lenoir, it was a gem, and I think he's going to be solid throughout the whole season. He's kind of like what Mosley was for us, like you said, in 2019. And, mm-hmm. If Mosley comes back next week, or, eventually he's going to come back, I would rather kind of maybe hold him out, get him all the way healthy before you bring him back. And just kind of do patchwork until that point, just so that, he doesn't re-injure or retweak kind of that knee. But I think a secondary of Mosley and Lenoir is still a formidable secondary with the defensive line that we have, the linebackers, and also obviously the safeties. So as long as Mosley comes back eventually, whenever he comes back, I think the secondary will be okay. Barring any other injuries, right? Like if one of those two guys goes down, then okay. I don't know what you do at that point. Mel Randall, RIP, Paris Harrelson, my condolences to your family. A Niner Warrior, 2006-2012 salute. Thank you so much for posting that, Mel. Obviously, Paris Harrelson, passed. Definitely, RIP to him. Condolences to his family. Was a decent player for the 49ers for a long time. So, sad to see him go. Obviously a big loss for the 49er family. So thank you for bringing that up.